Alright folks, it is Matthew. We are back playing Criminal Case on Facebook. And we're now going to do case number 3 in Innovation Valley. Case number 48 overall on the map in Pacific Bay. I just got through with uncivil rights. Still, want to thank these 3 for helping me out. John, Murad, and Meg. Okay. Blood in the blender. That's pretty gruesome. Matthew, I have an unusual assignment for you today. You have to go to a juice bar and sit there for an hour. Have a carrot juice on me. Okay. It may sound trivial, but make no mistake, it's a very important surveillance operation. That's why I have to send you. Haha, carrot juice on a surveillance gig? Don't expect me to go with you, Matthew. I'll be busy monitoring suspicious beer consumption at the bar. Suit yourself, Frank. I was going to send Amy with Matthew anyway. She takes better notes than you. Don't take it personally, Frank. So what's the assignment, Chief? A woman named Ruth Campbell, a renowned scientist, has been receiving death threats, and she came to us for protection. She thinks a stalker is following her to the juice bar she goes to every day, which is why I'm sending you there, Matthew. Here is her picture. Memorize her features. You mustn't make contact with her, but look out for any suspicious behavior from other patrons. Duly noted, Chief. Matthew, let's go to the juice bar. Matthew, the juice bar's closed. Where is everyone? Uh-oh. I guess we should go back to the station. We can't carry out surveillance on Dr. Campbell if she's not here. You still think we should have a look around? Something doesn't feel right? Alright, let's search the place. There we go. Juice bar supplies. Got the voucher. Oh gosh. There we go. That friendly sign. Already up to 16th. Oh no, I think I'm going to be sick. There's a human head in those blenders. No, I don't want to take a closer look, Matthew. The blenders are filled with body parts. It's horrible. Alright, I'll look. The head's got dark hair, glasses. Oh my god, you're right. It looks exactly like the woman Andrea wanted us to help. It's Ruth Campbell's body. It's too late to help her. Oh, Matthew, this is horrible. Who'd do such a thing to her? They blenderized her body. You're right. We must find out who could have done this. I see you've picked up some juice supplies. We'd better have a look through them. And those pink vouchers advertise a romantic trip for someone called Ruth. That must be our victim. There she was, planning a romantic trip, and now she's turned into a puree. I agree, Matthew. If we can retrieve the rest of the writing on this voucher, it may explain how she ended up in a blender instead of on vacation. So autopsy Ruth's body. And I'm going to grab a bunch of stars. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got me some more stars. Let's examine the juice bar supplies first this time. I think that's what I'm going to do because I think the top one was going to get me to the next crime scene, and I want to save that. There we are. Prepare for death, monster. Oh gosh. Oh dear, Matthew. This paper you found among the juice bar supplies, it's a threat addressed to the victim. Someone pasted her picture on a drawing of a blender and wrote, "Prepare for death, monster." You're right, the only person who could have done this is the killer, which means this white powder smeared on the image might help us catch them. Let's collect a sample. Yes, we will. Examine threat. There we are. White powder. Great, Matthew. You collected some white powder from the killer's threat. Let's send it to the lab. Okay, 3 hours. I can get the analysis in the morning, because I got school tomorrow. Ruth and Nigel Campbell. Voucher recipients. So the romantic voucher is for Ruth and Nigel Campbell. You're right, this Nigel Campbell must be our victim's husband. We need to tell Nigel that his wife's been brutally murdered. I'm not looking forward to it, but let's go. About his wife's murder. Tough part of the job. Ruth is dead, but she was everything to me. She was the love of my life. We're sorry to bother you at such a time, but do you have any idea who could have wished your wife harm? I don't know. Ruth never mentioned anything being amiss. Whenever she came home from the lab, she just wanted to forget about work. She was such a brilliant scientist. I wanted her to focus on her career, to change people's lives, so I gave up my job to take care of the housework. Not many men would have done that. What kind of research was your wife involved in? Oh, something to do with genes, but I'm not a scientist, Commissioner Matthew. All I know about DNA is that it looks like fusilli pasta. But Ruth spent all her time in her lab. Maybe her vials and tubes and screens will mean something to you. Yes, we'll check that lab. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Go. Rat, mortar and pestle, stepladder, heartbeat line, and the rabbit. Already up to 16th. Matthew, are those real people in the vats? What was the victim working on exactly? Let's focus on those broken pieces you picked up. Who are you? What are you doing here? Oh my God. Matthew, look out. There's with an arm in... And Amy faints. A man with an arm is 1 year, 1 arm. Miss, are you feeling better? I think so. Your arm, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have freaked out. I just didn't expect. Mother God warned me that people would be afraid. That's why she never lets me out. Mother God didn't create me right, you see. Someone created you? How could they... Of course, Commissioner Matthew, you're right. We better interrogate this man properly. Please stay here until we're ready to question you, sir. And let's not forget to have a look at the broken pieces you found in the lab. Goes by the name of Milo. Okay. Gonna get a couple more stars, I'll be right back. Sorry people, tablet went low. So I have to make a different video. But let's figure out who Milo is now. So, Mr. Milo, you mentioned being created by a mother god? Yes, Mother God made me. I was the first experiment in cloning. It went a bit wrong, as you can see, but Mother God promised to look out to me anyway because I was her first creation. Cloning? Did I hear that right? You said you were an experiment in cloning? She cloned my DNA in a test tube using human genetic material. Then she grew my body in a vat until I was this big. But that's not possible. You can't create a human being in a test tube. That's what Mother God does, Commissioner Matthew. She builds living things from a few strands of DNA. She grows me new organs in a jar, too. Whenever I get sick, she's really good at it now. That's insane. She can't grow human beings in test tubes, firstly because it's impossible, and secondly because Dr. Campbell's now dead. Mother God is dead? But that can't be. Who's going to look after me now? Gosh, Matthew, that poor man. I don't know what happened to him, but surely he can't be the result of a failed attempt at cloning. I really can't wrap my head around this. But if Dr. Campbell really managed to create a whole being out of DNA strands, then she took science a step too far. Unless Milo made up this story to cope with his deformities, I guess the only way to reveal the truth is to investigate further. Okay, now we'll examine the broken pieces. There we go. Matthew, the object you restored looks like a military medal. It's an odd thing to find in a science lab. The medal is engraved with People's Republic. It doesn't ring a bell. Good idea. Running the symbol through the database should tell us more about the medal and the person who lost it here. Excuse me, a little burp there. Alright, Matthew, let's see if the database turns up a hit on this military medal. We need to figure out who left it in the lab. Okay, C. Oh, no, it's A. There we go. I was almost tempted to say B, but then I changed it to C, and it was right. Ambassador Lee. According to the database, the medal you found in the victim's lab is a unique medal of merit awarded to a certain Ambassador Lee. The file says Ambassador Lee represents the People's Republic of North Freonia, a small country led by a military dictator. Dictatorships are never good news, but you're right. We can't let anyone intimidate us. Let's ask Ambassador Lee how his medal ended up in our victim's lab. How his medal ended up in the victim's lab. Ambassador, Commissioner Matthew found your medal in Dr. Ruth Campbell's lab. Could you tell us how it ended up there? I must have lost it when I visited Comrade Campbell's lab. She is a great scientist. The People's Republic is very proud of her. Dr. Campbell was working for the People's Republic? The People's Republic is a great supporter of science, and Innovation Valley is the cradle of cutting-edge technology. We sponsor Dr. Campbell's research. Really? And what did you want? Long live the Republic. This information is classified, Comrade Matthew. Our beloved leader will shoot me if I talk. Alright, well you should know that Dr. Campbell is dead. Her research has just come to a halt. Dead, you say? This is terrible. I must find a new scientist now, or our beloved leader will kill me. That can't be good news. I'll let these two run their courses, and I'll see you all for that. Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of the white powder. I'm going to let the autopsy run its course. Matthew, the white powder you collected from the killer's threat was a pharmaceutical cocktail. The powder contains epinephrine, hepcidin, motilin, a mix often given to people suffering from global hormonal deficiencies. So the killer is taking hormones? Well, the killer may be trying to reach a hormonal balance, but the balance of the law will tip against them once we've caught them, Matthew.
Some serious infections require hospitalization.
Yes, they will.
For tuberculosis, Stelara may increase your risk of cancer. Always tell your doctor if you have any sign of infection, have had cancer, or if you develop any new skin growths. Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to Stelara or any of its ingredients. Alert your doctor of the universal.
Alright, I'll let the autopsy run its course. See you for that. Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's get the results of the victim's body from Roxy. Matthew, you know I'm not squeamish about the human body, not even when it's turned into pulp in a blender. But mixing it with beet juice? That's disgusting. Roxy, can you please not joke about this? It's not a joke. The killer first cut Ruth into pieces, probably with some kind of saw. But the killer didn't just throw random fruits into the blenders. The ingredients form a perfect balance of acidic and alkaline compounds. You see, Matthew, smoothie making is a science. The killer chose fruits that attack the flesh, which make it easier to turn the body into pulp. This wasn't luck. This was a recipe. Oh God, Roxy. I hope you're not about to tell us that the killer actually drank from those blenders. I doubt it. Nevertheless, this killer knows their smoothies like a bartender knows cocktails. So a smoothie enthusiast killed our victim? Alright, I hope this case doesn't put me off my 5 fruits a day forever, Matthew. Yeah, I hope not either.
I think I'm going to take the next 3 days off. I'll see you later. Go outside and just stand around.
Matthew, this case is a nightmare. A woman blended into a pulp, a 3-armed man who claims to be a clone. It's madness. You're right, I'll get a grip. The basic principle of science is to rely on the facts alone. What do we know for sure? Dr. Ruth Campbell was gruesomely murdered. She'd requested police help because she thought she was being followed. Her husband told us Ruth worked a lot, but their relationship was happy. Nigel supported her career, and they were planning a romantic vacation. Her research must have been important, although we aren't sure what it was about. Milo says Dr. Campbell experimented with human cloning, but it's hard to believe. Matthew, there's someone here demanding to talk to you, and she says her name is Ruth Campbell. But Ruth Campbell's dead. Who is Commissioner Matthew, I'm Ruth Campbell. Why do I keep hearing that I'm dead? Whoa, my God. We'll have to find out this misunderstanding in Chapter 2 next. Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to begin the next chapter, Chapter 2 of Blood in the Blender. Commissioner Matthew, I'm Ruth Campbell. I heard on the news that I was murdered, but it's a mistake. I'm alive and well. What? That's impossible. You can't be Ruth Campbell. Commissioner Matthew found her pureed remains in blenders. Well, alright, I'm not exactly the Ruth Campbell I appear to be, but I can only explain it to you in private, Commissioner Matthew. What is this nonsense about? We're investigating a murder and we don't even know who is dead? I'm not having this on my watch. Matthew, I wanted you to go to the victim's house and untangle this mess. And Miss Campbell, don't leave the station. Commissioner Matthew will interrogate you further. I'm going to investigate the victim's bedroom first. Whew. Tray, ceiling fan, newspaper. Oh, that's a clue. Bathrobe. Playing cards. Plastic bottle. Hormone pills.
And they include a music legend, a champion jockey, an American hero, and a monster boy. ABC's Randy Hitt takes us behind the scenes before their first live performance.
After a brutal dancing boot camp.
Matthew, we need answers, and we need them fast. Did you find anything in the victim's house that could tell us who killed her? You found a newspaper article? You're right, it looks like someone kept it on purpose. Can you make the faded text visible? And you picked up some pills. The bottle says hormone supplements, and we know the killer takes hormones. You're right. The container is stained. Could you collect a sample of that substance? It could provide a link to the killer. Now I'm up to 228.
Is also taking on Backstreet Boy Nick Carter and singer Andy Grammer. But actor Gary Busey is promising chemistry.
Okay, I'm gonna get a few more stars. I'll be right back. Okay, got me a few more stars. I'll examine the newspaper article first. There we are. Great, you revealed the text of the newspaper article you found in the victim's house. Can I have a look? Why are those words circled? Puppets, child, Russian, geese? It doesn't make any sense. But Russell will know exactly what it means. You're right, let's send this article to him. Okay, 6 hours. Let's examine the hormone pills. Oh! How about that? Great job, Matthew. You collected a sample from the pill bottle you found in the victim's room. Let's get it to Jan. Okay, this is 12 hours also. I may speed this up at the end, but we'll see what happens. Now let's find out who this lookalike is. Alright, I know this will be hard to believe, but bear with me, Commissioner Matthew. I'm a clone. A clone? Like Milo? But you look completely normal. That's because with me, Ruth used her own DNA and the experiment was successful. Perhaps too successful. The real Ruth Campbell is dead, but if her killer finds out I exist, what's stopping them from murdering me too? I don't want to die because of her. I'm so confused, but Commissioner Matthew is right. You look exactly like the victim except for your red hair. If you were an exact copy of someone else, wouldn't you try and find ways to be different? But my hair won't keep me safe. I love making smoothies, but I certainly don't want to end up like one. Well, Captain Killers is what Commissioner Matthew excels at. I'm not sure who you are, but you'll be safe here. Matthew, I can't believe it. Is this lady really a clone of our victim? I wouldn't have dreamt such a thing was possible. I keep feeling like we've stepped into the future. But future or not, I know one thing. Whoever killed the real Ruth Campbell, you'll catch them in the end. I'll let these two run their courses, and I'll see you for them. Okay, folks, it is Matthew here. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of circled words from Russell. Hello, Matthew. Thanks for sending me this newspaper article. I haven't had this much fun since I designed an uncrackable puzzle to hide Frank's booze supplies. So it was a puzzle. You mean like a code? That's why it didn't make any sense to me. Well, the original article was a film review, but the circled words contain a secret message. Pretty standard spy stuff. That sounds extremely intriguing and wildly intelligent. But what is the real message then? Well, I won't bore your pretty little brain with the details, but the secret message is, this is your last chance, Doctor. Give the Republic your secrets or die. Give your secrets or die? This is a threat, and the Doctor must mean Dr. Ruth Campbell. Matthew's right. As for the Republic and the message, it must be the People's Republic. Which means this threat was sent by Ambassador Lee. Let's go bust his chops, Matthew. Not a threat towards the victim. Ambassador Lee, Commissioner Matthews found your secret message to Dr. Campbell. Last time you said you had an agreement with her, but it turns out you threatened to kill her. So you deciphered my secret message, Comrade Matthew. Very clever indeed. I admit, Comrade Campbell let down the Republic. Our beloved leader sponsored her research, but she wasn't working fast enough. After months of waiting, there were still no results. Our beloved leader became angry with me. I started drinking vodka smoothies to cope with the stress. What was Dr. Campbell working on anyway? What could a geneticist do for your Republic? I might as well tell you. Our beloved leader will kill me anyway for returning empty-handed. Comrade Campbell was paid to create a clone army for our Republic. Our beloved leader gives us hormones so we're stronger. But he wanted something better, a clone army that's invincible and renewable. That's why he sent me to Innovation Valley, to find the best scientists for the project. Sadly, Comrade Campbell let us down. That sounds bonkers. A clone army? This isn't the movies. Anyway, Ambassador, I hope you didn't kill Dr. Campbell, because you'd have to face Commissioner Matthew before your leader had a chance to deal with you. Well, he's in the running now. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. Matthew, the substance you found on the pill bottle held a surprise. Firstly, this substance contained faint traces of the victim's blood. The victim's blood? But then, the bottle must be the killer's. After all, we know they take hormones. Then you got an interesting killer to track down, Matthew, because the rest of that substance you collected was holy oil. Holy oil? What on earth is that? I run the chemical compound through the database. This type of oil is used in Christian ceremonies. They burn it for the scent. So this means the killer is a Christian? A Christian killer. Well, that gives a new slant to the investigation. I've written it down, Matthew. That's terrible. I don't know much about religion, Matthew, but I thought it was about peace and forgiving, not killing scientists. Anyway, what should we do now? We still have so many questions to answer. Good idea. Let's go back to our victim's lab. Her workplace will help us unravel this mystery. Got me another king of diamonds. Oh, why don't I go for that first star? Oh, lunchbox. Oh, I'm not gonna get it. It's okay, I tried. $707,000. Oh, I did get it. Okay. Right on. That's a cute lunchbox, but why is it in a science lab? And why is there a giant padlock on it? You'll have to crack that code to find out, Matthew. And is that box really filled with death threats? Wow, no wonder Dr. Campbell ended up dead, if they're all for her. Good point. Searching through the messages should bring us a step closer to the killer. Let's do it, Matthew. I'll do it now. Oh no. Oh no. BZN, yep. QE, yep. G78. Oh. What do we have here? Matthew, you've opened the lunchbox you found in the lab, and there's a torn picture inside. Let's restore it. There's another coins. Oh, that's a gruesome picture. Matthew, the woman in the photo you restored is Ruth Campbell. And she's with that poor three-armed man Milo who claims to be her first genetic experiment. But look, Milo scribbled a third arm on Dr. Campbell's head, and he colored her face in green. Was he trying to make her look like him? I agree, we should talk to Milo again. Defaced picture of the victim. Milo, last time we spoke, you said Dr. Campbell was your mother god, and she meant the world to you. But Commissioner Matthews found this photograph in which you changed her appearance to resemble yours. Care to explain? I was trying to understand why Mother God and I looked so different. Why am I scary and she wasn't? Mother God taught me to believe in another bigger God, to be a Christian, but I'm not part of His creation. I'm not part of anything. I'm all alone. So you were angry with Dr. Campbell for creating you? Of course I was angry. Just look at me. I'm a monster. My body doesn't work right. I can only drink smoothies, and if I don't take hormones, my organs stop working. I shouldn't be alive. Milo, I really feel for you. I know, I do too, because he's put himself in the running. But if you took your anger out on your mother God, you'll have to answer to Commissioner Matthew. Another card, 10 of spades, no, 10 of clubs I should say. The Holy Bible. Matthew, isn't that a Bible? Why would Dr. Campbell keep it with the death threat she received? Let's have a look inside. Ah, you're right, something was written there, but it's faded. Can you work your magic on it? Count on it. The Word of God destroys all evil. A biblical threat. The message in the Bible says, the Word of God destroys all evil. So that's why the victim kept it with the other death threats. The first thing to figure out is who sent this Bible to Dr. Campbell. You think Hannah could trace this Bible? Alright, let's try. Okay. 12 hours. That thing's already started. I'll go ahead and get the rest of the stars here. in the current crime scene, and I'll see you for that. So for now, this is Matthew. See you in 12 hours. Okay, folks, this is Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of the biblical threat.
Things will be a lot easier on you if you just call.
Matthew, not only did I manage to trace the origins of this Bible, but I also know who sent it to the victim. The Bible comes from the Christian Church of Our Lady of the Lost Sheep. The nuns there make their own Bibles, and they made this one. But the Lost Sheep sisters are not as immaculate as they like to think. They leave fingerprints just like everyone else. So I placed the Bible in the fuming box and applied cyanoacrylates, a component of sugar-strong glue. The gas bound to the traces left by the person who made the Bible. It was hard work, but the process gave me the fingerprints of a certain Sister Dolly. You're saying that Sister Dolly sent her Bible as a threat to the victim? But why would a nun do such a thing? Let's go talk to her, Matthew.
He's still our prime suspect until I hear otherwise.
About her threatening the victim?
I'm not so sure Jesse is your man.
Sister Dolly, what was your relationship with Dr. Ruth Campbell? Commissioner Matthews discovered the threatening message you sent her. I read about Mrs. Campbell's research, and it filled my heart with holy terror.
The service went out at 7:54 a.m.
Genetics, experiments on humans. What's next? Talking vegetables and three-headed sheep? Dr. Campbell was messing with God's creation. And so you wondered, the Word of God destroys all evil. Sister Dolly, we're investigating the murder of Dr. Campbell. Did you carry our God's revenge on her? No, my child. As a Christian, I believe it's not ours to dispose of life God created. I didn't kill anyone. But if Dr. Campbell's dead, she's burning in hell now, together with her satanic creations. Well, for now, she's clear. Matthew, even though we've progressed with our investigation, we still have more questions than answers. Not only do we not know who killed Ruth Campbell, but we have to provide protection for her clone. How crazy is that? Then there's Milo, the three-armed man who was angry with Dr. Campbell for creating him. And Ambassador Lee, angry because the victim had promised his country a clone army but failed to deliver it. Matthew, is it true that you met a viable human clone of the victim? Do you know what this means? I could be a clone. You could be a clone. Knock it off, Roxy. Enough with this clone nonsense. Matthew, there's been a break-in at the victim's house. Get over there immediately.
Done safely, they lose all sexual sensation, but too many die from infection.
So
Okay.
why would any woman agree with it?
Tradition. In some
We'll begin
cultures,
chapter
men
3
won't
next
clone
time.
women.
Okay, folks, it's Matthew. We are back. Let's start chapter 3. Matthew, there's just been a break-in at the victim's house. Ruth's killer must be trying to erase the evidence. I want you both to go there immediately and secure the perimeter. Things may be a little crazy right now. What with the victim's clones running loose, but there's one thing you can trust: hard data. Go back to the victim's house and bring back enough evidence to catch that killer, Matthew.
All of the evidence you've mutilated, you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail.
The court might show leniency. If you help us out.
Investigate the table.
Give us Nikki's address.
Yes?
Detectives Benson at Stabler. May we come in, please?
I'd rather not. Our house is...
Does Nikki
Okay.
have Quamby live here?
Yes. Something happened.
Let's see.
Do you live here as well?
Yes. What's going on? Why is Nikki detective?
Gym bag.
We found your balloon this morning.
Torn pieces. Cake. Pineapple chessboard. That's a 17. Matthew, that bag is packed with science books and notes. This could give us the answers we need. Let's search through it. And knowing you, I'm sure that torn paper will be restored in a minute. We must hurry, Matthew, or Ruth's killer will get away. more stars. I'll be right back. Okay.
My shirts are public protest against law enforcement's over-reliance on these
Sam in the bag.
No, I ain't clean, man. I ain't doing the American dream. I'm doing business.
Your shirts are a pain in our ass, man.
A faded photo.
No, you don't think it's cool? I think it's cool.
Matthew found a picture of our victim and her clone in the bag. It's strange to see them side by side. Excuse me. Nicely spotted. There was a message on the picture. I'll get your testing kit so you can retrieve it.
How do you think your sales will do if we just camp out right here?
That really got the street cred.
You think we have nowhere else to go?
I like this block. Let's hang out.
No, hey, listen. I'm just the tip of the iceberg. Okay, everybody, and I mean everybody is cashing in this stuff.
Keep
Okay?
wasting your life. I'll take it.
I got DVDs, CDs, posters, this and nothing. The real cash is coming in off this website. That's where the money's being made.
So the message on the picture of Ruth and her clone reads, "If you keep wasting your life, I'll take it." This sounds ominous. Could the other Ruth have written this message?
Was Nikki on the side?
I agree. There's not a minute to lose. Let's go talk to the clone again.
As a key witness in the murder trial of one Dennis Harold King.
About stealing the victim's life.
Mr. King, the serious Harlem drug dealer.
Ruth, Commissioner Matthew found this picture of you and the victim. Did you write this message about taking her life?
Let me kill him.
Yes, I did.
15-year-old kid.
You don't understand what it's like, being the mirror image of someone else. Ruth created me just to prove she could do it. She didn't care about me.
Police reports indicate
If religion hadn't helped me find some meaning, I'd have gone insane long ago. Can you imagine how confusing it is to be born a grown woman? How many hormones I must take every day just for my body to keep working? It all sounds insane for sure. That's why I wrote this message. You were jealous of the real Ruth? She was throwing her life away, so I took her place. Her husband didn't even notice I wasn't his wife. Can you believe it? Wait, you're telling us you slept with the victim's husband? It's not like I hurt him or anything. He thought I was her. This story keeps getting crazier and crazier, Matthew. You better not have killed the real Ruth or so you can steal her life. Commissioner Matthew will prove it if it's true. And Matthew, I agree, we need to talk to Nigel. I can't believe he didn't notice his wife's hair color was different.
Former dictatorship started dumping refinery. They confiscated his land. The police jailed him and beat him until he lost the use of his left arm.
About his relationship with the wife's clone.
he doesn't notice what came away.
Chuck Way's a good person. He wanted to do the right
Mr.
thing.
Campbell, did you know that your wife had managed to create a clone of herself? What do you mean, cloned herself? That's insane. I wish it were. Ruth created a woman who's her exact genetic copy. She looks exactly like her, apart from her red hair. Red hair? Yes, red hair. Sound familiar? The clone admitted she'd been impersonating your wife. Are you saying you didn't notice your wife kept changing hair color from one day to the next, Mr. Campbell? I thought Ruth wanted to spice things up, that it was a wig. Look, Ruth and I have been trying to have a baby for months. She made me take hormones to boost my fertility, and I drank smoothies to keep my strength up. I can't believe I've been sleeping with my wife's clone. I need to go to confession. I need to talk to someone. No need to go that far. If you have something to confess, Commissioner Matthew will discover what it is. Okay, let's get the torn article.
Sorry for your loss. You're not welcome here. My family for a note.
Let's find out who did this to me.
There we go. I could resurrect him. Ruth. Matthew, what's with that old newspaper article you found in the victim's house about? Oh, the headline reads, "Tragic fire kills 10-year-old kid." How dreadful. And there's a handwritten message, "I could resurrect him," signed by our victim. Ruth wanted to bring a dead kid back to life? And I thought this investigation couldn't get any crazier. You're right, Matt. We need to find out who the message is for. Let's send the newspaper to Hannah. She'll track down this kid's family.
You interrupted a funeral.
9 hours. I'll let it run its course, and I'll see you for that. Okay, folks, it is Matthew here. We are back. Let's get the results of the torn paper. Matthew, I ran this article to the database. I know who Ruth wanted to resurrect this poor kid for. The boy in the picture is Tom Andrews. He died in an accidental fire more than 50 years ago. That's heartbreaking, Hannah, but we're on the clock here. Give us a name, someone we can talk to. Andrews happens to be the last name of one of your suspects. Not that you know it, since Dolly Andrews became Sister Dolly when she joined the order. The victim offered to bring Sister Dolly's dead brother back to life? That must have gone down well. Matthew has not a second to lose. We need to ask Sister Dolly about the victim's crazy offer. About the victim's offer? Sister Dolly, Commissioner Matthew discovered the victim had offered to bring your long-dead brother back to life. But I torn that paper to shreds. I didn't want anyone to hear about this heresy. I take it you refused Ruth's crazy offer? Of course I refused. She wanted to bring my darling brother back from the dead and condemn him to eternal damnation. That heathen thought she'd win me over by offering to recreate my brother from a strand of DNA. Horrifying. Commissioner Matthew, I'm not unreasonable. I know science can do good. The hormones I take every day help me, and I believe that it's God's wish. But Ruth wanted to take God's place. She wanted to be in charge of resurrection. And so you confronted her. Sister, I hope you didn't forget your God and your rage, because if you did, Commissioner Matthew will catch you. Matthew, my head is spinning. Dr. Campbell's work still seems incredible to me. Our victim's clone, and I still can't believe she's real, was bitterly jealous of our victim's life, so she started impersonating Ruth, the real Ruth. And Nigel pretends he never noticed he was sleeping with his wife's clone. Not that I can blame him. Who'd have thought it was possible? Who'd have thought it possible? Matthew's up to us to figure out what's real and what's not. We must find Ruth's killer. Good idea. Let's go back to where it all started, the juice bar. Maybe the key to this crazy story is there. Okay, let's investigate the bar booth. Bloody saw, calculator rock poster, call, faded paper, glass coffee pot.
It looks like cement, but it's a more porous version called Eton from Zella, a German company with Swedish roots. It's been used across Europe and other parts of the world for decades.
Matthew, do you think this saw could be what the killer used to chop up the victim before feeding her into the blenders? That could be the final piece of the puzzle. Quick, let's collect a sample of that blood. And what about that piece of paper? Is that also blood on it? Apparently someone circled something with their blood, but the page is faded. There's not a minute to lose. Let's retrieve the writing. Okay.
30 to 80 grand higher than other bids. But the company says the cooler, lighter material will cut her electric bill, reduce her carbon footprint, and save money instead of road.
There we are, 7. Brilliant. Let's send the blood from the saw to the lab and hope that science is on our side, Matthew.
this is one of some ways
Okay, how long? 15 hours.
to have this concrete that's
Now let's examine the faded paper.
Each home was created in post-war 1929 using recycled materials and meant to better withstand the wrath of Mother Nature. And no blood, that means no termites or mildew. Those who believe that means another option in place.
There we go.
Gloria Mona, KRTV4 News.
Matthew, I don't get what's drawn on this paper, but the fact that someone circles something in blood means you should send this paper to the lab. Let's go.
That makes it less competitively priced.
Turning down sports.
Okay, strange drawings. It looks like chromosomes. And anyway, we'll find that out from Jan once 9 hours have passed. I'll let the blood run its course too, and I'll see you guys for that.
Likely, sometimes 3 times as likely to commit an act of violence.
Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of the strange drawings just before I head to school.
And just
Matthew, I congratulate you on a magnificent find. This map of the human genome you found at the crime scene will crack the case.
this
Please don't launch into a long explanation, but what's a map of the human genome? It looks like doodles to me.
exposed to it.
Those drawings are human chromosomes.
Now you may not
Yeah.
agree or like this study. Gunmen
They're what makes
don't like
you who you are, from the color of your eyes to the shape of your legs.
guns.
And the red circle on the paper is made with your victim's blood. Matthew, Ruth sent you a message with this paper. You mean she drew the circle in blood while the killer was hacking at her? Poor Ruth. You should thank her. By circling that particular chromosome, she gave you a crucial evidence against the killer. They have red hair.
Once you see someone telling the truth, it's easier to do it yourself. Nathan saw.
I'll wait for the blood to run its course. See you for that.
To death in front of him, and at that moment.
Hey everyone, it's Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of the blood. Matthew, the blood you collected from the saw was mostly the victim's. I knew it, Matthew. You found the murder weapon, you genius. There's more. The blood wasn't only your victims. Considering how messy the murder was, I'm not surprised the killer cut themselves. Get to the point. It may have taken millions of years for humans to evolve from amoeba, but we don't have that long to catch this killer. Matthew, your killer's blood type is O positive. Now go and catch them. Well, that narrows it down. Matthew, you collected all the evidence to arrest Dr. Campbell's killer. Let's go and show them how natural selection works.
Dear detectives, it means earnestly or honestly in this application. Erica?
What is sincerely? Food for thought.
Among Time Magazine's 25 best inventions of 2013 was the Clement. Cost between
Unfortunately, it's Nigel Campbell. Nigel Campbell, Commissioner Matthews arresting you for the horrible murder of your wife. What? Commissioner Matthew, whenever we meet, you come up with some outrageous nonsense. First you said my wife had a clone, now you claim I killed her. What's next? Mr. Campbell, we found holy oil on your bottle of hormones. You're a religious man. Confess the murder to Commissioner Matthew and you might get a shorter sentence. I have nothing to confess. I loved Ruth. I gave up my job for her, to be a house husband. I was devoted to her. The blood on the murder weapon matches your blood type. As the husband of a scientist, you can't argue with that. Science doesn't have the answer to everything, Commissioner Matthew. How about love? I didn't want Ruth dead. I wanted us to have children. Mr. Campbell, your wife had the presence of mind to leave a final clue about her murderer. She circled the red hair gene on a picture. She's your downfall. Alright, I admit it. I killed my wife. I just couldn't take it anymore. When her clone came to me, I couldn't resist her. She was like a better version of Ruth, and she cared about me. She spent time with me. My wife was always in her lab, working. And for what? To get death threats from angry stalkers and fanatics, like that Sister Dolly? I thought one of those lunatics would take the blame for the murder. But you were too clever, Commissioner Matthew. But I did it for love. I loved Clone Ruth and wanted to live with her. Mr. Campbell, you are hardly the man to lecture about love. You turned your wife into pulp in a blender. I'm not even sure if you're human anymore, Mr. Campbell, but you're certainly under arrest. Mr. Campbell, it says here you killed your wife because you wanted to marry another woman exactly like her? That's foolish. With all the other women in the world, you had to make the same mistake twice? I loved my wife, Your Honor, but she neglected me for the sake of science. I wanted someone who was around, who was loving and caring. My wife created a clone to push the boundaries of what is possible, to question what makes us human. And in the process, she forgot to be human herself. She forgot to love me. And so you turned her into a smoothie. Well, hopefully they won't put you on kitchen duty in prison, Mr. Campbell. You're sentenced to 30 years in jail. 30 years is nothing for true love. I know the other Ruth will wait for me. She has to. Matthew, I still can't grasp all that you discovered in this case. Genetic experiments, clones. And to think this man killed his wife to marry her clone is the icing on the cake. What's next? Innovation Valley seems to be full of dark secrets. I dread to think what we'll discover next. Look at the other ones. Milo almost made the cut. He doesn't have red hair. Ambassador Lee was clear when he wasn't a Christian. Ruth, the victim lookalike, has A positive blood. And Sister Dolly was clear from the beginning because she doesn't enjoy smoothies. So we'll see for the additional investigation. Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back. Let's go into the future, part 3. All these robots, why even give them emotions? Meteor Systems is going too far with technology. Why so gloomy, Frank? Innovation isn't a bad thing. Having so many robots could be a bad thing. What if they revolt and enslave us? I hope Meteor Systems knows what they're doing. Matthew, let's keep an eye out. Matthew, I keep thinking about Milo, Ruth's first clone. Now that his mother god is dead, who will take care of him? Matthew, there's someone here to see you. I need to sit down for a bit. What could have spooked the chief so badly, Matthew? Commissioner Matthew? A woman told me I'd find you here. Milo, I'm so happy you dared to leave the lab. I shouldn't have. People in the street screamed when they saw me. I made children cry. Oh dear. Commissioner Matthew, we'll find a way to help Milo, won't we? There must be something we could do. Alright, I feel better, Matthew. I applaud you for wanting to help this man, but it'll have to wait. Your victim's clone has decided to continue Ruth Campbell's research. I want you to check what she's working on. And Smooth Delights wants permission to open again. Please make sure the crime scene's clear before they do. Alright, well Matthew, we got our plate full. What should we start with? The juice bar or talking to Ruth? About it? Just a bit. Let me check something. Okay, let's investigate the juice bar first. So yeah, I'm going with faded paper. Okay. What did you find this time, Matthew? I hope it's not another body pureed in a blender. Oh good, a harmless piece of paper. Although it's faded. Let's remedy that, Matthew. adoption form. There we are, 6 of them. Wow, the paper you found at the juice bar is an adoption request. It says, "We will contact you as soon as an opportunity arises. Whoever lost this must be hoping for a child." You want to send the application number to Hannah so she can tell us who filed that request? Curiosity killed the cat, Matthew. Luckily you're not a cat, but a great detective. So this will probably turn out to be interesting. Let's get this file to the lab. 6 hours. Talk to Ruth about her research. Ruth, we heard you've decided to take over Dr. Campbell's research. Is that true? Of course. You see, I'm me, but I'm also her. I've got all her scientific ideas stored in my brain. So I thought, why not carry on her work? It'll give me purpose in life. But her research was kind of dangerous and not very ethical, even if she did create you. Well, I don't fully understand what I'm creating. It's a bit like following orders, but it's pretty good fun. Now, excuse me, I need to collect some test results. I agree, Matthew. If Ruth doesn't even understand what she's doing, we'd better have a look at her research. Let's search the lab. And I got robbed of the third place medal, so I'm going to try and get that back here. I know where all the items are. Scientist safe. Eight seconds. Great. I took it back by 300 points. Great. Okay. Great, you found a safe in the lab. If Ruth or her clone are hiding anything, it'll be in there. Let's unlock it. G89. EBQ, yep. Whew, just in time. Excellent job, Matthew. You unlocked that safe like a pro. What's that paper inside? The title says DNA research, but the rest is faded. Matthew, I'm counting on you to reveal its secrets. There we go. You recovered the contents of this research paper in no time, Matthew. I don't understand what they mean, though. Right, let's send this to Hannah. Nine hours. I may speed this up a little later tonight, so we'll see what happens. So for now, I'll let it run their courses. I'll see you for that. Okay, folks, it is Matthew. We are back, and we're now going to get the results of the adoption application. I'm going to speed up this one after this. I examined that adoption application you found at the juice bar, Matthew. You'll never get to file this request. Sister Dolly. You're telling us Sister Dolly is trying to adopt a child? But she's a nun, and she's, well, old. Well, aren't you open-minded, Amy? Come on, Hannah. You know there's no way her request will be fulfilled, not when so many younger people are waiting to adopt. Matthew, I hate to say it, but she's got a point. I don't know why she wants to adopt, but Sister Dolly will never fulfill her dream. Unless, Matthew, you're a genius. We do know of one boy dreadfully in need of a mother, Milo. This is such a splendid idea. Let's go talk to Sister Dolly and see if she's on board. About adopting Milo? Sister Dolly, Commissioner Matthew has discovered you're trying to adopt... Why yes, my orders ask for us to be celibate, but it doesn't forbid us from helping the parentless. Alas, I am losing hope. But we may have an orphan for you to adopt. His name is Milo. He's very sweet and has just lost his mother. He's a bit old though. I'm not so young myself, Commissioner Matthew. I would love to meet this young man. Oh, good. There's just one thing you need to know. He has a kind of deformity. See, he was a cloning experiment and A cloning experiment? Shame on you for suggesting I'd ever adopt an ungodly creature, Commissioner Matthew. Now, shoo, be gone with you. Well, that didn't go as I had hoped, Matthew. If only Sister Dolly could see how sweet Milo really is. Then she'd realize he's not a monster at all. Oh, good idea, Matthew. Maybe we could find some proof of Milo's good character. Let's start by searching through the victim's house. There might be something there. Recording. Thank goodness. Oh, there's torn paper. Flowers, basketball, passport, 10 mirror pills, diamond ring, a lighter, safe, hand fan, dog, and necktie. Got it. So Matthew, did you find anything that could convince Sister Dolly to adopt Milo? A torn book? You better piece it back together if you want to read it. Okay. There we go. Aw, the scrapbook you just restored is adorable. Look, it's Milo. It looks like this picture was taken on his first birthday. Whoa, so weird to think he was already this big. In that drawing, it's him with a made-up family. You're right. If anything can soften Sister Dolly's heart, it's this scrapbook. Let's show it to her. Let's do that. Sister Dolly, before you make any final judgments about Milo, we'd like you to look at the scrapbook he made. Is that him? But he's an abomination. No, he's not. He's a sweet human being. It's not his fault he's a failed genetic experiment. Why should he suffer for it? Well, did he draw that picture? It's very sweet. Commissioner Matthew, you're right. This poor boy shouldn't be blamed for what Ruth Campbell did. If he is on this earth, then he's one of God's creatures. Thank you for opening my eyes. I would be honored to become Milo's family. Oh, Milo will be so happy. Come on, let's introduce you to him. Excellent. Oh, and here's for you, Commissioner Matthew. My order wanted to give something back to the police for your hard work. Oh, how nice. Thank you. 20,000. Introduce Sister Dolly to Milo. Milo, we'd like to introduce you to Sister Dolly. She's going to be taking care of you from now on. You found me a home? Oh, thank you, Commissioner Matthew. I'm so happy. Well, I'll be. This picture hadn't quite prepared me for the shock of it all, Commissioner Matthew. But where are my manners? Nice to meet you, Milo. You'll have to tell me all your favorite foods so I can make them for you. I like fish heads and... he's joking. Of course, Sister Dolly. Come on, Commissioner Matthew. Our job here is done. Thank you again, Commissioner Matthew. And please take this. I made it myself, just for you. DNA necklace. Cool. I'm going to speed this up. The research paper you found in the lab is incredible, Matthew. Clone Ruth managed to break down DNA into binary code. Break down DNA into binary code? Sounds like biology meets computer science, in other words. Sounds like biology meets computer science. In other words, I don't understand any of it. Hell. Well, robots are programmed using binary code. Likewise, humans are programmed using DNA. Our genes are like what ones and zeros are to robots. Except robots can be programmed and reprogrammed, like computers. You can't do the same with humans. We are born and die with the same DNA, right? That's how it is now, yes. But Ruth's papers proves that human DNA can be programmed and reprogrammed too. You just have to translate DNA into binary code, and that's exactly what she did. So, you're saying that it's possible to reprogram humans like robots? That's more insane than anything we've ever heard before. And it doesn't stop there. It also means humans could easily be merged with robot technology to give rise to a new species, biological beings that are programmable. You mean like cyborgs in those sci-fi movies? Half human and half robot? That sounds horrifying. I know, this is a huge scientific breakthrough. Still, if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be very dangerous. I agree, Matthew. We'd better warn Ruth to stop this research for now. It sounds way too dangerous. Ruth, you told Commissioner Matthew that you don't fully understand what you're researching, right? That's true. I'm just following my original's ideas. I know what she knew. I just don't know what it means. Well, Commissioner Matthew can tell you what it means. You managed to transform human DNA into binary code. Did I? Ooh, that sounds important. And dangerous. If it fell into the wrong hands, people could easily modify humans' DNA. That's why we're asking you to stop, Ruth. For humanity's sake, some things are best left unknown. I've actually gotten bored of science. Being locked away in a lab all day isn't for me. I think I'll go to Ivywood and become an actress. After all, I'm very good at being someone else. Commissioner Matthew, let's go for celebratory burgers. Matthew, the more I learn about science, the more terrified I get. Clones, cyborgs, programmable DNA? It all sounds like a futuristic nightmare. I don't know much about science, but I know only too well what happens when such power falls into the hands of greedy, incompetent, and stupid criminals. And I'm not sure people in Innovation Valley know what they're doing. What if they're all just like Clone Ruth, thinking that science is a cool toy to play with until they're bored? This cyborg thing is truly unsettling. I hope I don't live to see the day when it becomes a reality, Matthew. $4 coins already, cool. I've already kind of solidified that I'm in the 10,000 range. I'm over at 11,000 now. So I'm going to unlock another case. Free. Now I'm up to 11,694. That's all I can do for now, because it's 12:42. We'll see you for case 49.